everyone, and welcome to today's session. Our topic for today is exploring number and text formatting in SQL. It's another really unique one, and you'll find it very interesting. In fact, you'll be amazed that the things you already know in Excel, it's very similar approach to formatting, especially text, and extracting text from SQL query results. So the speaker for today is Hakeem. Hakeem Anibi is one of our newest team members at your BizEdge. So you are in a good company. We've got someone who, if you know how we do our training, you know that you're going to cover a lot of breadth in this session. So this is brought to you by your BizEdge, and we are into data analysis training, Power BI, Microsoft Excel, financial modeling, SQL, and usually also Microsoft Office suite. So we have some clients that that's what they want. And MHS Analytics is our Canadian entity, same services, though we are trying to also roll out a product, but once the details are out on that, we will share. But if you have anyone in Canada or in North America looking to engage engage a consultant on data analysis training or engage our services, then this is the more appropriate arm of the business to reach. So our session today, our speaker is Hakeem Anibi. Hakeem is a certified data analyst. He's got experience working on projects that are across different industries. He's adept at using Microsoft Excel, Power BI, SQL, and Python. And today you will get to experience his delivery on SQL. You get to learn from him on SQL. I'll share his LinkedIn connection link on the Teams chat so you can be able to connect with him. I'm going to pass over the control to Hakeem now so that he can take us away on the session. The practical session is prepared for us. So Hakeem, yes, over to you.
Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening, and happy independence to all Nigerians. I hope I'm audible enough.
Yes, you are. That's it.
All
Today
right.
is the 63rd birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So let me stop sharing. Yeah, you can share your screen.
All right. I hope everyone can see my screen.
Yes.
Okay. So today we'll be exploring number and text formatting in SQL. If you're on the call last week, you have an idea of what SQL is. The standard is a structured query language to query databases. So just to dive right into it. So what is formatting in SQL? So formatting is just a process of applying a readable style to strings, numbers, dates, and our query results in general. So people often ask, so why do we need to format our queries? So we format queries so they can be readable, so to ensure consistency and quality of our query results. And also formatting query actually helps to improve the performance and efficiency of our queries in such a way that the execution time becomes lower than normal. So be exploring a few functions or the most prominent functions that are going to be very useful for us in our daily activities. So the very first one is going to be cast and convert. Okay, yeah, we'll be talking about the text formatting first. So text formatting is just using various formatting techniques to format strings. Just we can find the length of the string, we can increase the string. Just like if any one of us is familiar with Excel functions such as upper and lower, you can also do that in SQL. So the very first function I'm going to be looking at today is the cast or convert function. They're actually two different functions, but they have the same functionality. They are mainly used to convert a data type from the current data type to another data type. The major difference between the both of them is that cast is used, or it can be used in several database management this thing like MySQL, Oracle, Postgres, and the likes. But convert is just strictly for SQL Server. If you're all familiar with it, we know that most companies actually use SQL Server. So they have the same functionalities, but they just have different syntax actually, but they do the same thing. So let's just dive right into SSMS so we can just start. So we're going to be leveraging the AdventureWorks database. So as we all know, the select function. Please, if I'm too fast, I'm too slow, please you can let me know in the comment in the chat box rather. So we'll be using for this particular function, we'll be utilizing the let me see which one can we utilize. Okay, let's utilize the employee table. Let's convert and transform a few data types here. So let's just see what is in our table. Okay, sorry. Okay, so the table comprises of the business. It just records of several employees in the AdventureWorks company. So we have several columns: the national ID number, login ID, the job title, the birth date, marital status, gender, hire date, and so on and so forth. But we'll just be using these functions. Let's assume your manager just wants to see, or is just curious. I want to see the exact time that they gave birth to several employees in the company. We can actually utilize the cast function. Then we choose the column that I want to use as the birth date. So now is okay, let's go back to the. So it actually takes in two parameters. That is the expression, that's the column or the string that you want to convert, and then the data type you want to convert it to. So now you're using a cast. So now the expression here is the birth date. So now it's asking us, so what's going to be the data type that I want to convert it to? So I'm going to convert it to a date time. And we can rename the column as birth date. Let's choose the job title. So it's going to be easier for us to identify. Let's choose the initial birth date so we can, for easy comparison, right? So as you can see, the job title, the CEO, was giving birth to 12 o'clock, exactly 12 o'clock, just like that. Although this might not be the correct timing, but assuming the column had a time, a specified time, using this cast function, now you're going to get the particular time they're giving birth to. Similarly, we can use the convert function. It's actually similar to the cast function, except just the syntax. This one gets the first parameter here is the data type, and the second parameter is going to be the column or the string or the any value you want to convert. So let's just check our. Let's use select. from all right, so we have a column here named modified date. Let's assume our manager does not care about the particular date a record was, sorry, the particular time a record was modified. You can just easily convert that particular record for the modified date just to have the date and not the time. And we know we have several types of data types in SQL. We have dates and we have dates time. The dates data type is just going to give us just the date with no time. But the date time is going to have both the date and the time. So now once convert these to a date data type here. So date. Now it's asking us which expression do you want to convert. We say the modified date as modified date. We can also choose any column we want to see in the query result. You can choose the national identity. Okay. So running this, we can see the column has been converted from a date time column to a date column. So that is that about the cast and convert functions. So the next function we're going to be exploring is the left trim, which is denoted as L trim. So we have left trim, we have right trim, we have trim as a whole. So the difference between these three is just that in case we have, okay, let's imagine there's a site that stores data in our database, maybe the company's website saves data in our data in the AdventureWorks database, and then maybe employees that input their names and job titles, their what else? Maybe their ID number and such. Okay, so when an employee, let's assume an employee is trying to put in his name and maybe mistakenly presses the spacebar like twice before inputting his name. Okay, I'm going to let me drop this. I created a table that I want to use for this particular function. I'll just put it in the chat box so you can easily follow because what's it called? So AdventureWorks database does not have any column or any table whereby we have columns with white spaces and the likes. So I just created this table so we can explore these functions together. So the code has been posted to the meeting chat. So the name of the table is the client table. Let me refresh this. So this is the client's table that was created. If we check the second column, which is the client's name, we will notice some abnormalities in the column, like the very second record, Brian Sean. You can notice that we have a few spaces before the Brian, and this is not actually proper. It shouldn't be like this. You should have a very a consistent format, actually. So in cases like this now, we can actually use the left trim, the left trim function let's pick our select. Let's select the client ID and the client's name. That's a left string. Then the client's name is what we want to format. As client's name. Okay, just for us to compare the initial column, the unformatted column. Let's also pick the client's name also. So running this, you can use your F5 or you can come over here to execute. So running this now, you can see the very first column that was, okay, let me just put this one as the modified one. So running this now, we can see the second column, the client's name modified. You can see it's having a very consistent and beautiful format compared to the second one that is having some spaces and on some unattractive format. So we can also explore, okay, there are some white spaces also in this client's name, but due to the old color and everything is not visible currently. But we can also do the same and just change this L trim to R trim. But it's not actually going to be visible because of this color, as I mentioned earlier. But here it is over here. And then we have the trim function. The trim function actually came to SQL Server, I think in 2017 or 20, it's not thereabouts. So the beauty of that particular function is that it can do both left and right trim. So instead of you specifying L trim or R trim, because there's sometimes that the data in the table is just going to be so large. I can't keep going through all records and saying, okay, is this one, I might use left trim for this one, I might use right trim from this one. So in cases like that, you can just use the trim function. When I'm using the trim function, it's going to trim both sides, both the left and the right. Now you're going to have a very consistent format in our column. Please, if I'm too fast, or if you have any questions, you can drop them in the chat. So the next function I'm going to be exploring is the upper, lower, and len functions. So the upper function is just, if I use to Excel, is just to change a string to uppercase. Then the lower is to change the string to, sorry, there's a mistake there, is to change the string to lowercase. And the len function is just to count the number of characters in a string. Let's go back to our SSMAs and explore that. So I don't know if everyone has gotten a client table, but we can also use some other tables in the AdventureWorks DB. So let's use, okay, we can also use this employee. Once again, let's see what we have in the employee table. Okay, we have the job title, birth date. Okay, let's pick this job title column and format it. Currently is in a sentence case format, but we want to see everything to be lowercase. We don't want sentence case. We don't want some to be upper. We don't want some to be lower. We just want everything to be lowercase. You can use the lower function. Then the column we want to format, that's the job title column. And also choose, okay, just to compare the job title. Okay, we can also rename this to job title lower. Okay, now running this, let's execute it. You can see everything has become lowercase compared to what we have compared to the initial one that is a mixed case, both lower and upper. At the same time, you can use the upper function to get everything to be uppercase. We can convert everything to be uppercase. Maybe you want, okay, this is often used maybe for last names, actually. You can make all last names to be uppercase. But instead of switching and looking for some tables with names, okay, I think the person table has a name in it. Let's see. Okay, yeah, this one has first name, middle name, last name. Okay, let's format the last name to be uppercase, because most times last names are always formatted as uppercase. First name, then the middle name, then don't forget our upper function for the last name. Those are brackets. Then we can run this. You can see, okay, let's rename this as last name. Okay, there we go. So the last name is now in uppercase. So that's that for upper. Then we can also, let's explore the length function. The length function is just counting number of characters in a string or a number. Actually, it's actually works for both. So characters in such that A is a character, B is a character in Abbas. A is a character, B is a character, A and that. So those are characters actually. You can actually decide, okay, how many characters do we have in the last name? As length of last name. So yeah, we have a column named length of last name. So we can see that for Abbas has 5 characters in it. Adams has 5 characters in it also. Then Akers to 5, Alameda has 7, Alan has 4, and Alexander has 9, and so on and so forth actually. So let's also explore, there's sometimes that maybe the IT department wants to create maybe a password for every employee in the organization, and they want to use maybe the very first 3 characters of everyone's first name or last name or whatsoever. There's a function called left. So we'll be exploring left, right, substring, and char index. Okay, so let's take the left. So the left now actually, as the name implies, it actually takes it extracts a substring of a string. Like let's assume my name is Hakeem now. Okay, my name is actually Hakeem, I'm not assuming. So my name is Hakeem, and let's say the IT department wants to use the very first 3 characters of my name as my password to my account. To do that now, we can actually use the left function. Okay, let's try select left name. Yeah, then it actually takes 2 parameters also. It takes the value that you want to format, and also it asks, okay, how many number of characters do you want to extract from this string? So in our case now, in Hakeem, we want just the very first 3 characters. So tell SSM is I want the first 3 characters in Hakeem. So running this, we get ACK. Okay, let's try it on the select in the processing table. Let's assume the management wants to use the very first, maybe first 3 or first 4 characters of our last name as the password to our company's account. Sorry, to our individual company's account. So we can just say left, then the last name, that's our expression. And also it asks us how many characters you want to extract from it. You can say 4 characters as shortened. Okay, running this. Let's see, let's get the last name so you can see what really went down there. We can see for Abbas now, Abbas' short name is going to be Abba. Abercrombie is going to be ABER. Then Acevedo is just Acev. Then Adams is Adam, not Adams, and so on. So you're just going to get the very first 4 characters of the last name. There's sometimes also that the IT department wants to use maybe like the last 4 characters, just like we did for left function. We can do the same for right. So we can just select. It also takes into parameters, just like the left function. Let's change this to right. So now, running this. So now the thing about right function is that it actually starts counting from the last character in the string. Let's assume, okay, sorry, my name is Hakeem once again. So the name is Hakeem now. I want to take the last 4 characters. So it start counting from M. It start counting from M, then it counts E, then the next E, then K, then A, then H. Compared to the left, so I start counting from the left. The left function start counting from H, A, K, but the right function start counting from M. So running this now, let's just use the right function here. So now the short name for Abbas is just going to be BBAS. Abel, because Abel has 4 characters, so it's just going to be Abel. Then Abercrombie is going to be MBIE. So that'll be their short names. So let's just fast forward to substring. So substring is just, you're also extracting a substring, just as the name implies, from a string. But the beautiful thing is that now we're going to tell SSMAs that, okay, SSMAs, I want you to start counting from this character. Compared to the left, that start counting from the far left. This one tells, okay, I want you to start counting from, okay, let's go to SSMAs and let me show you. So now the name is Hakeem. So I can tell SSMAs, so I want you to start counting from K, that's the 3rd character. And from K, I want you to give me the preceding, like 3 next characters from Hakeem. Let's try with Hakeem. Let's select substring. From Hakeem. We're actually going to give this quotes because the string. Then it's asking me starting position. Okay, I want to start the extraction from K, and K is on the 3rd. Sorry, K is the 3rd character. So now I tell SSMS starts from 3, and it's asking me for the length of the character that I want. That's like the number of characters I want after my starting position, which is K, which is 3. So I'll tell, okay, give me maybe next 4 characters after K, or next 3 characters after K. So we can say 3, and close our bracket and execute this. So I'm going to get KEE. So now it started counting from K. So K is like number 1, the very first character of what we are extracting. Then KEE, that's key. Let's try that in the person table. From the last name, we want to substring. So let's start from, we can start from the very first character. Okay, no, let's start from the second character. And say, okay, from the second character, give me the next 3 characters after it. Let's run this and see what we're going to get. Sorry, that's F4, should be F5. Substring. Let me see. So Abbas now, starting from the second character of B and taking the next 3 characters, we have BBA. Then Abel is just BEL, that's just 4 characters. So from the second character is taking it, B is going to be number 1, E is number 2, then L is number 3. So because of our time, let's try the next function, which is char index. So char index is like an abbreviation for character index. So what it does is just to tell us the position of that character in a string. So we can also use okay, let's assume my my email is hakeem@gmail.com, and I want to know the position of the @ in my email. So we can use, let's bring this down. So you can say select char index, that's the name of the function. Then it's asking us for the search expression. So it's going to take just maybe one search for the @. So let's say in one search for in hakeem@gmail.com. Don't forget it's a string, so it has to be quoted. So running this, you can see that the @ is at the 7th position in the whole string. Let us count also. So H is 1, A is 2, K is 3, E is 4, the next E is 5, M is 6, then @ is on the 7th position. So that's how the character index actually works. So the next function we have on our list is the replace function. So the replace function actually takes a substring and then replaces it. Let's assume I have hello world, and I don't want to greet the whole world. I want to greet just Nigeria because today is Nigeria's Independence Day. Instead of to replace the world with Nigeria, all I have to do is select, then the replace function. This is a string, don't forget. Then it's going to ask us that, okay, in this string that you've provided, this replace. In this string that you've provided, what do you want us to change? Then I'll tell SSMS, okay, SSMS, I want to change the word world. I'm not greeting the whole world. I want to just greet Nigeria. Then I'll give the next parameter that, okay, when you find this particular word called world, I want you to replace it with Nigeria. So here we go. So instead of the hello world, SSM has replaced the world with Nigeria because it's only Nigeria I want to greet. We are not greeting the whole world. So can I just assume the management wants to replace probably the name of a product. Let's see, there's a product table, okay. It is a product table. Okay, we have different names. Let's assume they want to just replace, instead of this lock that we're having here, we want to put it as secured. So it won't be having lock notes 19 or lock notes 18. We are going to be having secured notes 19. You can just do that. Say select. Okay, let's also pick the name so you can actually compare afterwards. Then the function which is replace. So what do you want to replace? We want to replace the name. So it's actually what are you searching for in the name? You are searching for lock. So what are you? So SSM is telling us when I see lock, what should I replace it with? Replace it with secured. And close our bracket from the products around this. Okay, it's too large. Let's just use the where name is like lock. Okay. So we can see. So everything that has the word lock has been changed to secured. So that is how the replace function actually works. So it's take this whole string that you want to work on or the column you want to work on, and then it will ask you what do you want to replace in this column. You can tell it lock. So anyway, SSMS is lock is going to replace it with the word secured. So that's how the replace function actually works. So the next function we have is concat. We've done left, we've done right, we've done, okay, let's do concat, then go to string split. So now in the concat is just used to combine or join two or more strings together. Now my first name is Hakeem and my last name is Anibi. So if I want these two, let's assume they're in two different columns. And I want to just join them into one column. I don't want two columns. Maybe I want my query to run faster or something in the nearest future. So I'll just say select. So to join Hakeem and Anibi, let's assume they're on two different columns. You can say select then concat, which is the name of the function, and Hakeem. Then I want a space, which is going to be the separator, to be between Hakeem and Anibi. So that's the space over there. Then we have Anibi. So let's run this and see. So you have Hakeem Anibi. And also there are some times that you'll have forgotten probably the name of the function. We can actually use the addition symbol, that's the cross, this, to actually join two or more strings or values together. It actually works. If maybe there's a case, there's a day you are probably under pressure and just have to get the query very fast. So you can just say select name plus as full name. Okay, but there's no space in between. We need a separator. So here we go. Hakeem Anibi. Let's just try that on the person table. Let's join the first name, the middle name, and the last name all together. Can use the concat. Then we have our expression. We have the middle name, the first name, and the last name from this table. Let's use a separator. Let's use an hyphen to separate them. So here we go. Let's say full name. So you can see they've all been separated by an hyphen. So we have seed slash e dot slash Abbas. So we have like that. Some don't have middle names. So this is Noah hyphen B hyphen Adams. And there's another function called concat underscore WS, which actually means concat with separator. So instead of typing this long list and you keep putting hyphen in the middle, let's imagine you want to concat like 4 to 5 columns. Now keep typing, okay, first name, you put the separator, middle name, you put the separator, last name, put the separator, second name, put the separator. Instead of doing that, you can actually use this function called concat underscore WS, which actually means with separator. So in this particular function, now, it actually takes the separator that you want to use to separate all the strings, all the columns that you want to join together. So in our case now, we want to use the hyphen to separate the first name, the middle name, and the last name. So now it's asking for the separator. We tell SSMS I want separator to be an hyphen. Then it's asking us for the expression. Expression is like the string or the value or the columns that you want to join together. So in our case, we want to join the first name, the middle name, and the last name from the person. So let's execute this. You can see we are still having the same results, just like we did in concat. But now this one is shorter. It saves time and saves energy. So that's like the beauty of concat underscore WS. So moving on to the next function, which is string split. So, oh, this is wrong. So what this string split does is that, let's assume all these are, let me just do a new one. Let's assume we have apple, different name of fruits in just a row. So in a cell rather, we have apple, we have banana, we have, let's say, orange. All in a cell. But this is not what we want. What we want is actually to have everything on a row. So in rows. So apple is going to be a record on its own. Banana is going to be a record on its own. And orange is going to be a record on its own. It's not just going to be an accumulated record. So to do this now, we can actually use the string split function, but it actually takes in two parameters. That is the expression that you want to separate and also the separator. So now let's assume everything is a string. So apple, banana, and orange is just a string. It is just in one cell. Now we tell SSMS that okay, this record is combined or is separated with the comma. So we give it the comma, then we can select all from string split. So now it's like a table actually, because we want our results to be in rows. So executing this now, apple, banana, and orange are not in one row again. They've all been separated into different rows. But there's something I want us to notice here, which is the name of the column, which is value. Because I want us to do another example just to see its wide functionality. So let's go back to that client table that I created. Let's just say select all from client. Execute this. So now this table actually comprises of let's assume trainers from Yobi's Edge. These are clients. Let's assume we have clients named Mike Tree that works in Google in the UK, and his preference or the course he wants to take from Yobi's Edge is SQL and Excel. They have another person called Brian Sean from Nigeria that wants to take SQL and Power BI, and so on like that. We have Temi Rice that wants to take SQL, Excel, and Python. But the management actually wants to know the number of times that each course was demanded for. Having just this column, this client's preference column, there's no way that the organization can count how many times that each course was demanded for. To do this now, this is where Spring Split actually comes in. You can say, okay, let's select the client's name. Then from the client's table. And now we want, don't forget that when we did this, what we got was, say, can you see the name of the column is value. So now when we are doing this also, we are going to put that name, the name of the column, which is value, as let's just say courses. So now we're going to use the function called cross apply. We're going to cross apply that column, what's it called? The client's preference column. Say Spring Split. The column that I want to split, which is the client's preference column. And the separator, if we've not forgotten, let me just so you can see what we want to work on. Can you see? It's actually separated by a comma. So against tell SSMS that the separator in the client's preference column is a comma. Then we'll close our bracket. So now running this, we can see that, okay, Mike Trey demanded for the SQL course, is also demanded for the Excel course, and so on. So with this now, the company can actually easily analyze this data that they've gotten. They can say, okay, how many SQL courses, or how many people demanded for SQL courses, and like that. They can just do the select course, then they count the course, then you group by the number, you group by the course also. But when we're doing that, because that is not our agenda for the day. So moving on, we have number formatting. So number formatting, just like the text formatting, is just to change the appearance of a numeric value. Then we have several functions. We have the round, we have ceiling, and we have format. Format is a very versatile function. It's used to format. You can format dates, you can format numeric values, you can format a number as a currency, and we actually get to that. So let's just pick the round. As you all know, while we're doing arithmetics back then in primary or secondary school, there are always questions like, okay, round this to 2 decimal places. So now we all know that currencies, well, okay, Nigerian currency precisely, has just 2 decimal places, which represents the kobo. And then having a column whereby you're having 4 decimal places for a currency, but we all know that, yes, that is absolutely wrong. So let's see if we have a table with currency. Like I think this particular table is okay. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Can you see this unit price column? This column that we have here. You can see here is having some 3 decimal places, 4 decimal places, and which is absolutely wrong. Let's assume it's Nigerian naira. It's just going to be kobo, and it's just 2 decimal places. We can actually round this up. We can use the round function to round the unit price to 2 decimal places and close. Okay, let's also select the original column so we can compare unit price modified. So let's run this column, sorry, this query. We can see that it has actually gotten back to how it's meant to be. So now you can see that the very first product has 2024 naira 99 kobo compared to what it had initially as 994 kobo, which does not exist. So that is where we can actually use the round function. So we also have ceiling function. So it's actually used mainly in cases or scenarios where you have to do with human beings, population, and the likes. So let's assume Lagos has a population of like 2 million. Let's see, is this 2 million? Yeah, almost 3 million people. And the percentage of children in Lagos is like 39%. So select 0.29. We can see that our results, after we multiplied the number of people in Lagos, which is almost 3 million, by the percentage of children in Lagos, which is 29%. That's just to get the total number of children in Lagos. We are having something like 800 and something 0.81. And we all know that there is no human being that can be regarded as point something. There is no half human being. You are either 1 or you are 0. So now to actually make this up and round it up to an integer. So what ceiling does is that it rounds up a figure to the nearest integer. Compared to round, that round up a figure to a precise decimal place. Well, let me just try this 3.9. No, it's not giving me what I want. Okay, now this is beautiful. So now we have 0.31. Let's see the beauty of ceiling right here. So can you see? It's actually rounded everything up to the nearest integer. Let's select this. So you can see the difference. You can see that it's rounded up 3.1 to 202 instead of 201, just like how the round function is to do. But now, even if we all know that when we're approximating, anything that is above or equals to 5 is like an additional one. But in the ceiling function, regardless of the number that is after the decimal, even if it is 0.06, it's going to round up that value as +1. That is how the ceiling function works. That's why it's mostly used when we are talking about population or counting people. So now we have the last but not the least, which is the format function. It's a very versatile function that can be used on several values, both dates, numbers, currency, and the likes. So we can actually use the format function. Let's just format. So now this value that we have here is not easily readable. Just as you can see, we can format this to have commas in it to show in thousands. So to do that now, we select the format function. But let me just use. Okay, let's just use the format function. Then it asks us that which value do you want to format, or which column do you want to format, or which no, we can't format the string. Which number do you want to format? So now in our case, let's just pick the unit price as we picked earlier from the sales order detail table. We want to format it as a number, which is denoted as N. From the sales order table. Now running this, you can see we are having commas in it already. So it's very easy to read. We can easily tell that this is 2000 plus and so on. We can easily tell that, we can easily tell the numbers just like that. And at the same time, when you are formatting as a number, another beautiful thing is that we can actually format it as a number. And in case it has like a decimal point, we can say, okay, just do this to the nearest or to one decimal place. So to do that now, we just have to include a 1 after our N. So it's going to be N1 instead of just N. So executing this, or let me just put this side by side so you can see the difference. So you can see it has rounded this to the nearest number, and also 28.84, that was the initial one, has rounded it up to the nearest, sorry, to one decimal place rather. So that is for N, formatting a column or a value as a number. You can also format it as percentage. Let's assume we have a column. Okay, let's just use format. Let's format 0.79 as a percentage. Right here, the format is just going to be P, the letter P. Then you can close the column. So formatting this now, let's run the query. You're going to see you're having 79%. So let's just use this in a scenario. Okay, I don't think we have so much time. We'll be running over very soon. Sorry. Let's select maybe units price divided by 100. What's happening? Okay. Okay, here we have units price discount. Let's just format this column, which is units price discount, as a percentage. We want to know the percentage discount. So so you can see they're all 0.00%. So that's actually how we can format a column or a value. And also we can actually show, we can format it as a currency. Let's format the unit price as, so by default, it is in the US dollar. So it is unit price. Now, when we are formatting as a currency, it's going to be the letter C. From this table, you can see that it's all having the dollar sign. And you can actually change that in case you want it to be in Naira sign or any currency that we want. You can just search on Google for the what's it called? For the country's culture code. It's actually called culture code. So now for Nigeria, the culture code is EN/NG. So here we go. So that's it. We formatted the column as a Nigerian currency. So yeah, so date formats. So dates can have several formats. Maybe you just want to see the weekday name. We want to see the year. We want to see the month, and so on and so forth. So I won't be taking you through everything because of our time. So the D is for like day, M is for month. Then we have to be very careful because M and minutes are both MM. So, but the capital M is for months, while the lowercase m is for minutes. Same thing happens for the H. The capital H is for 24-hour clock format, while the small letter h is for the 12-hour clock format. Let's just take that and round up because let's assume the manager wants to know probably the date or the day that some people are giving birth to in the organization format. Then I think there is birth date column. Okay, yeah, this is it right here. Using this. Okay, the birth dates, then say format. Once format our birth date to get just the day, the weekday name actually. So we have triple D as day name. So executing this, we can see that the CEO was giving birth to on a Wednesday, the vice president was giving birth on a Sunday, the very first design engineer was giving birth on a Wednesday, then the two engineer on a Wednesday also, and so on. So there are a lot of formats, so you just have to put what exactly you want. So with this, we've come to the end of the webinar. In case there are any questions, they are very much welcomed.
Thanks a lot. And yeah, it's at first I wasn't so sure if you'll be able to cover everything within the hour, but yeah, you took extra 5 minutes or 6 minutes,
Yeah.
but it's worth it. So any questions from anyone? By the way, there's going to be a giveaway, so if you let me even make the rules really clear. Hakeem, so you will ask a question. You can maybe share a screen, you give like a task, and whoever gets the answer, you ask a question, but the question is something that someone who was paying attention is the person who's going to get it, and you might pick something tricky that not so many people will know beforehand. So if you ask me, that thing where that involved the I don't want to mention the function, but where we had to do almost like a Cartesian join to join a table with a split table to get, a combined table. That would be a nice thing to craft a question around. If there are other things you feel you want to use to ask like a trick question that maybe you said something and only someone who paid attention will have gotten it, that will also be nice. And then the price will be, let me share my screen and show people what the price will be. Okay, so the price is going to be, since we are doing SQL, so it's better we give a price that is SQL related. So the price will be this, learning SQL using a SQL murder mystery. It will be this course anyway. It's going to be something fun. It's a course that you can finish in less than an hour. I think we planned it to be a 30 something minutes. So it's like you are solving interesting stuffs, and in about, it's less than 40 minutes. I think it's about 39 minutes. So, and you get a certificate, and more importantly, you get to also use your SQL skills on something interesting, at least something you find engaging. So that's so Hakeem, do you want to ask a question since the audience have refused to ask you question? So we will ask them question.
All right. Let me just share. Do I need to share my screen, or can just ask the question openly?
Anyone, whatever will make it difficult for someone to get a tip. So if you share your screen and you think they might see something that might give them a hint, then maybe you don't share your screen.
Okay. Maybe we should just do something on extracting a string, or sorry, a substring from a string.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. I don't think I have to share my screen. So
Okay.
let's assume we have an email address, which is Hakeem at gmail.com. How can we actually get just the name of that email, like the Hakeem that is there, not Hakeem at gmail.com. We just want to extract Hakeem from Hakeem at gmail.com. Is there anyone who can try that?
Okay, so I've posted the question. Anyone wants to give an answer? So if you're going to write a select statement, select what would be the blah, blah, blah that you will write. Or just mention what you will use, right? So we don't make it look too complex. Like
You
if you
can just
even
mention the
mention,
functions.
yeah. Anyone, if you typing is better, so that way it's easier to judge the correct answer. Okay, a lot of answers are coming in. Let me just tell us the answers we are giving. We are giving it in such a way that we already know the record. But imagine there is a column of records,
Yeah, there's a whole
them
column of records.
and the emails are different. Some will be Hakeem, some might be Mike. So
Yeah.
your answer has to be robust enough to grab all the parts. That's why I prefer to use the word. You'll notice in my own wording of the question, I said extract the part before the at symbol. So I think the answers that are coming are correct. It's just I think they will work for the substream. Actually, let me not say much. So we're waiting for more answers.
Yeah. Let's see.
Let me give a hint, at least from some of what I've seen. So the person who wrote select left, right, email, and then you put the 6. Can you do something in place of the 6 that we get the position of what we are looking for? Just think about it. What did we say in this session that we said can get you the position? So at least I know that is one way that's already close to what someone has suggested. Similarly too, even for the substring too. It's just that the
Yeah,
way it is
for the
here
short
is
string,
not
you just need to get the
the
position as you mentioned earlier.
uh,
So once they can get the function to get the position, I think they are good to go.
Okay, we will. If nobody else chimes in, then in about 20 seconds, we will just give maybe both or one of the people that at least were bold enough to, you know,
To type
and
something.
to type something. We'll give them. You know, seems as if that has gotten that. Just that you wish is very char index. So yeah, okay. So, but what we'll do anyway, just to because again, it's a lot of attention you must have paid to even figure out all of these possible
Exactly.
combinations. So all 3 people, Esther, Madam Ayodeji, Azizat, we're going to give you the course award. So what will happen to make it easy so that someone else will not claim your prize is if you email us at webinar. Just say you don't need to write too much. You can just say prize award or something that will make us know that we are the 3 people we are to send. So once we see it, we'll know, okay, you're one of the 3 people. So I'm writing the email address. Just send us a an email. No, don't worry too much about the content of the email. Just something that will make it easier for us to know you're one of the 3, and then we will send you the coupon to claim the course. Okay, so thank you very much. Thank you for active participation. Okay, so we have come to the end of today's session, and I don't want to take more of our time, but if you know that want to take a proper structured course on SQL, then just know that you can reach us, reach us at team@yourbizedge.com, and you will enjoy more of Hakeem. Cool. Training. Okay. And the training can be both physical, we come with a class training, and if you want online, so fully different convenient options for you. All right. So thank you very much, Hakeem, for the session today.
Yeah.
It's been very educative. I think if you are not too tired, is it okay if you do a rerun for the Power BI session?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. That's
Okay.
by 6. Yeah.
Okay, great. So in case you missed this session, let me just share my screen and show you. In case you missed the session start, you joined really late. A lot of people joined late. Yeah. So in case you joined so late that you think you want to have a rerun of this session, you want to be part of the rerun, there's going to be same content, but like for a different set of audiences, so you can be part of them at 6 p.m., which is less than an hour, which is in about 40 minutes. So join us for a rerun at 6 p.m. Lagos time for Nigerian time. So if you go on this event page, you'll see the joining link I'll also share, so that if you just want to click on the joining link directly and not have to do any long process, then you simply click on the joining link, and once 6 p.m. you do that, you'll be in the session. And if you join before 6 p.m., you'll still be in the session, you'll just wait a bit. So thank you very much for being part of today's session, and make sure you rate today's session, give us your feedback. Do you want us to do more of this type of topics? Is there a particular kind of topic you want to see us cover? Whatever feedback, that can help us to deliver more value to you. Then we are always looking for, let me share the feedback one. I think I shared the one for speaker, call for speaker. We're always looking for speakers, like for the Power BI that we will be having in some hours time. There was some issues with the session that was already planned, so we are a bit short of speaker for some series. So we are always happy when someone reaches out to us and says, he's got some things he wants to share with the community, and he's going to prepare a 1-hour presentation that will be valuable to everyone. Yeah. And like I keep saying, we're a safe audience. There are some sessions that, you you want to be very, very certain of what you are going to teach. You want to prepare for difficult and hard questions. For us, we are a safe community of audience, because luckily most of the people who join these sessions are people who they are on some level of their journey. They are not yet at expert level. So most of the time, we don't have a situation where people feel like what was covered was too basic for them, or so don't have any fears that, you are thinking there will be people there who probably know more than you. Yeah, it's like that in most sessions. But the thing is, majority of the people who are part of this session, they are people who either they are happy to relearn what they know, or they are very, very going to be, grateful to even learn something new from whatever you cover. So please fill the volunteer, the speaker form if you want to be considered for a speaker slot. And we have come to today's session with that. Thank you very much, Hakeem, for the wonderful session. I know usually we
That's my
ask,
pleasure.
we usually ask that you share your stories and all. Today we'll skip it. There's a reason I'm wanting to skip it today, but eventually we'll get to ask you to share with people to your advice for them. But thank you, everyone. See you, for those who will join us in about 40 minutes. See you again today, and for the rest, have a wonderful week ahead. Thank you. Bye-bye.